They called it the flip. It didn't happen in a day. It took 5 years for the planet to tilt, wobbling on its axis like a dying top. As tectonic plates twisted, entire oceans shifted. Cities once perched proudly on dry land were pulled under tidal tsunamis. Entire nations were wiped from memory. Meanwhile, the old ocean floors rose, revealing rusted submarines like roaches on the desert sand. The Earth didn't die, it just inverted. Those who lived above became Topkins, half-starved survivors scavenging irradiated plains and sunken skyscrapers. Meanwhile, those who adapted beneath the sea evolved, becoming Narrated, intelligent, ruthless, powerful. One world burned, the other thrived. Rai had grown up in the ash. He remembered sun flares, lung infections, the sting of dry wind and cracked lips. His father died scavenging a hydrocore from a derelict turbine farm. His mother, a scientist, left behind only a bracelet and a book with no words, just glowing lines. Rai hunted scrap across the ghost dunes of what was once Tokyo Bay. He moved through toppled solar towers, avoiding spore vents and raiders. On one typical run, the sky cracked with fire. Something plummeted from the clouds, half submarine, half machine. Rai approached cautiously. The hull steamed and hissed, etched in symbols he'd never seen. A small lens blinked, then projected a blue hologram. "My name is Thasia. If you receive this, you must act quickly. The Narrated Empire is preparing to unleash the Thalakora, its tidal engine designed to wipe out the surface. But it can be stopped. If you carry the blood," the message ended. Rai stared at the bracelet on his wrist. It pulsed just once, then went dark. Deep beneath the trenches, the underwater capital of Abylos glowed like a city inside a jellyfish. Spires of coral and chrome reached upward, pulsing with bioelectric light. Emperor Kardax, ruler of the Narrated, stood in the pressure chamber before the Thalakor. The machine was monstrous, part mech, part organic leviathan, coiled like a serpent and alive with energy. Thasia watched from the shadows. Half Narrated, half human, she had never belonged. She'd kept her surface blood a secret. Her mother, once a Topkin refugee, had taught her to hide, to fear, to survive. But now Kardax was moving too far. "Let the surface boil," Kardax declared. "We shall rise with the flood." But Thasia had other plans. She sent the beacon. Rai assembled a team. Sell, his volatile cousin with scars across his throat, and Aiko, an ex-military AI pilot who now wore his drone controls on his spine. Their descent was brutal. Their substats stitched from airplane parts and leftover reactor cells. Barely held pressure as they dropped through the deep scar rift, where the ocean swallowed light. Halfway down, they were attacked. Tidehounds twisted, guild beasts bred for war ripped into their vessel. Aiko launched an EMP spear, frying them, but at the cost of navigation. The sub slammed into the trench wall, Yos's left side crushed. Crawling from the wreckage, the trio trekked across the sea floor, Rai wearing his mother's bracelet, now glowing with a steady pulse. Thasia found them before they collapsed. She guided them through tunnels to an abandoned Atlantean lab where old air still clung to rusted hulls. There she revealed the truth. Rai was a genetic key, direct descendant of one of the Preflip High Council scientists, who encoded control protocols into their bloodline. Only his DNA could shut down or activate the Thalakor. Sal's fists clenched. He stepped forward. "It should have been me," he hissed. "My father said I was the carrier." But the bracelet didn't glow for him, only for Rai, and resentment has a way of sinking deep. With Thasia's help, they infiltrated Abylos under disguise. They moved through coral alleyways, past glowing markets, and watchful drones. The city buzzed with energy. Soldiers lined up in formation before the Thalakor, preparing for activation. The group reached the chamber. Aiko hacked the vault doors using his last functioning arm. Then, betrayal. Cell drew a shock knife and sliced Rai across the leg, dropping him. Guards swarmed. "Admiral Varnox promised me power," Cell spat. "Let the surface rot. I want to rule what's left." Chaos erupted. Aiko went down in a flash of glass and blood. Thasia was hit. Rai, groaning, dragged himself toward the core, blood trailing like a ribbon. Inside the Thalakor chamber, Rai reached the activation pedestal. The machine emmed alive. Waiting, He had two options: activate the pulse, kill the surface, or reprogram it to flood the clouds with vapor to bring rain back to the surface. But it would cost him. The system required a neural override, a mind, a soul. "I'm tired of watching everyone drown," he muttered. He slammed the bracelet into the core. Light exploded. The Thalakor shrieked. Rye's eyes rolled back. His voice echoed and twisted with the machine's growl. Then silence. The sky over the surface changed. Black clouds swelled like lungs filling. Then rain, real, cold, clean. Children danced in puddles across cracked concrete. Crops emerged from dead soil. Water flowed through channels that had been dry for decades. Ack! In a billows, the Thalakor sparked and shut down. Its massive coils imploded inward. Kardak screamed as his empire crumbled and was pulled into a collapsing vortex. Thesa was named interim ambassador. She vowed to rewrite the laws of both worlds. A year passed. Peace blossomed, uncertain but real. Topkin engineers worked with Merilith builders. The seas quieted until a probe exploring the deep scar detected a figure hovering above the ruins of the Thalakor. Glowing eyes, metallic hum. Rye, his voice, digital now, whispered through the waves. I remember everything. Far across the ocean floor, deep beneath a buried volcanic trench, a second Thalakor awakens. And in front of it stands Cell. But he's changed his body, hybridized. Gills etched into his neck, his veins glowing with blue. This time, Cell whispers, I'm the key. Is this the end? Or the beginning of the next tide?